Welcome back, everyone, to the Queen of TV channel. Now, some quick things before we get into our intro. First, please watch the video to the very end. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Second, there will be cursing and profane. If that's not your cup of tea, this channel is not for you. Lastly, I will be giving my honest opinion about the episode and the show as a whole. So, without further ado, let's get into our intro. Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, the Queen herself, and you are the Prince and Princesses. You're either a subscriber or you are a viewer. Either way, welcome. Today, we'll be talking about Season 3, Episode 13, To Have and to Hold Back. So, this is Lewis's final episode before he returns for the finale. So, we are saying goodbye to one of our main characters who's actually been in the show since the very beginning. So actually, he's our second one. So we've lost Emma. Now we have lost Lewis. So without further ado, the episode starts off with Lewis actually receiving a letter saying that he had actually got the job to be able to do his scientific work in America. He's ecstatic, but he has to tell Cleo. He goes to Cleo to try to tell her, but they're interrupted by Dom and Sam, who announce that they plan on getting married the day after tomorrow. Kim is not happy about this and Cleo tries to talk to her to no avail. Dom and Sam think about getting married at the registry office, but Cleo thinks that they should do it the proper way and have an actual wedding. Kim is refusing to engage and only decides to be a bridesmaid considering that she's getting a new dress. Cleo goes to Mako to meet Rikki and Bella, where she gets Rikki to agree to let them have the wedding at the cafe. They start planning everything for the wedding and doing the decorations and everything and setting everything up outside the cafe. Lewis, not able to keep the secret anymore, grabs Rikki and tells her about him leaving. She wants him not to tell Cleo because it could ruin the wedding and it could break Cleo's heart. So Lewis keeps it to himself. At Cleo's house, Lewis shows up, much to Ricky's dismay, while Bella is working on Kim's hair to make sure it looks just exactly like Cleo. Dom said he invited Lewis to ask Lewis to become his best man. Lewis agrees, much to his shock, and then Cleo comes down from upstairs wearing a beautiful, gorgeous dress where Lewis states that she looks amazing. Cleo's giving the good news that Lewis is going to become the best man, and Rikki grabs him and pulls him into the kitchen where Bella is. It is revealed that Rikki told Bella about Lewis leaving, and as they're talking about it, Kim overhears their conversation. Kim tries to use this opportunity to ruin the wedding. That way Sam and Dom cannot get married. She tells Cleo that Lewis is planning on leaving her. Rikki tells her that that's not funny, and when Kim tells Cleo to ask him, Lewis says that they need to talk. Cleo is very upset that Lewis applied for the job and did not tell her, which he applied for 6 months ago, and she was very hurt that he was leaving, going to America for 3 years. What hurt her even more was that she had found out that Lewis actually told Rikki and that Bella knew before she did. She tells Lewis to go ahead and go and runs off. Sam finds her crying and sulking, and she comforts Cleo, and they have a heart-to-heart about everything that's happened. Sam offers to stop the wedding just so Cleo could be able to grieve, but Cleo refuses, stating the wedding must go on, using the wedding to hide her pain and disdain from the fact that Lewis is leaving. While Dom and Lewis are talking, Lewis tries to explain himself, and Dom agrees that Lewis should go on and chase his dreams, but tells Lewis that that means that him and Cleo would have to break up because a long-distance relationship is too hard. That it might be difficult for them despite the fact that Lewis believes that they can do it. Kim's first attempt failed, but she has a sinister plan for her second attempt. Cleo puts on her locket and goes to the cafe to make sure everything is ready, at the same time avoiding Lewis and refusing to talk to him. The wedding begins and everybody gets ready as the guests have all arrived. Sam and them begin to walk down the aisle and they get ready to say their vows and display their rings. Except Lewis cannot find the rings and Dom is upset that Lewis has lost the rings, and Cleo assumes that Lewis wants to ruin the wedding and that he probably should just go ahead and leave and go off to America. But Lewis had said that he wasn't going, stopping Cleo dead in her tracks, letting her know that he had called them and told them that he wants to turn down the job. Cleo was shocked by this, and Lewis said that he couldn't imagine being without her and decided to choose her over his dream. They're able to kiss and make up, and the wedding begins. Kim's second attempt had failed, so she tries a third and final attempt where she turns on the water sprinklers. This completely ruins the wedding day as Sam runs off, including all the guests, and Dom runs after Sam. The girls have to run inside the cafe, being protected by Zane and Lewis, and as a result, once the girls turn into mermaids, Bella asks what happened then. Cleo realizes it must have been Kim. Cleo goes to talk to her dad, who reveals that maybe he doesn't deserve Sam because he's cursed and that he might not actually be good enough. Cleo still believes they can have the wedding, and Lewis says leave it to him, but there's one thing they gotta take care of first. Cleo and Lewis go confront Kim, Cleo telling Kim to give back the rings and admit to Sam and their father that she's the one that's trying to sabotage the wedding. She's not afraid and asks who's going to make her, and this is when Will, Bella, and Rikki show up, scaring Kim and forcing her to tell the truth. When they asked her why she was ruining the wedding, she said that she was scared about having a new stepmom and that she was not ready for it. They have a heart-to-heart, and the wedding starts back up, this time at Mako Island. I guess Charlotte was right. It is romantic there. Well, it depends on the people. But they get married to a beautiful song sung by Bella, Cleo, and Rikki. And as they get married and finally exchange their vows, they become husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs. Satori. As for Lewis and Cleo, Cleo asked Lewis if he really turned out his job for her, and he said yes. Cleo said she could not do that to him as it makes her feel selfish and that she wants him to go off with his job. She tells him that this does not mean that they're breaking up, that they will try to do long distance, and that they will see each other again. That it is not over. Even though it hurts and it breaks both their hearts, they kiss one last time, and Lewis and Cleo say goodbye until they see each other again. Cleo stating that she will see him again no matter what. And the episode ends with Lewis driving off and Cleo looking on in the distance. So, yeah, this shit is very straightforward. This is sad as hell. As much as I am happy that Dama and Sam have gotten married. Okay. Yeah. Damn that Chris has been separated again. Why are you doing this to me? So no, I'm not ever gonna get over it. Don't care how many times I look at this. This is some bullshit. So luckily for me, I'm fully aware that they didn't actually break up. They're still together. They're going to be together long distance. But the craziest freaking part, the craziest thing in the world is that when the hell did this happen? They said 6 months, right? He applied 6 months ago, right? So he applied in that big ass time jump they had then. So when the hell were they planning on bringing this up? It would have been easier if they had, brought this up and then they would have reminded us. I would have been like, all right, yeah, I remember this. Yeah, he applied for this job. No, they don't do that. You don't do that. No, they just sprang this shit on us, and we're supposed to be okay with it. So before I get into the positives, let's talk about the negatives of this episode. Why would everybody think Lewis shouldn't tell Cleo? I have never understood that. Why not tell her? He not telling her was the problem. That's what hurt her the most, is that Lewis told everybody else but her. She should have been the first to know. That way she could have dealt with it amicably. No, no, they all suggested he don't say nothing. Huh? What you mean say nothing? And then that's just supposed to magically make everything work out? Hell no. Of course she was upset. And the worst part is that it come from Kim. Which brings me to my next thing. Kim don't give no damn about having no stepmom. She give a damn that her dad won't be her meal ticket no fucking more. She going to live in the house with Sam. She going to live by certain rules. She going to eat certain foods. She's just being a difficult ass child. Yeah, okay, look, it's hard. Your mom ain't there no more. You're not ready for all that. You attitude dies. You've gotten too damn comfortable with your dad buying everything. But at the same time, this man is supposed to be happy too. It's not about you. How would you feel if somebody was doing this to your wedding? You wouldn't like it, would you? No. No, and she just sitting there happy-go-lucky on the couch until she is faced with 5 bodies telling her you gonna apologize or else. She backed down real quick. Fuck you. She may not be scared of Cleo and Lewis, but she had to deal with Rikki, Will, and Bella too. Nope. She backed down immediately. I feel like Kim should have got grounded. Sam and Dom were a little too easy on her. I just don't get that. She would have got grounded. The other negative in this episode, they just got engaged, didn't they? When did they get engaged again? They got engaged in episode 7. So it's only been 6 episodes. It's like, this is quick. I think the biggest negative is how quick their relationship went. I would have totally understood if Dom and Sam like got to dating at Valentine's Day and then he asked her to marry her in the 13th episode and they was planning a wedding and they got married in the finale. Like, I would have understood that because there's a big giant gap right there. They meet and then some episodes later they get engaged. They don't meet in the 4th episode and then get engaged 3 episodes later. It makes more sense if they would get together first and 9 episodes later get engaged. You know? And then 13 episodes later they get a wedding. Shit. Instead of like what we got together 3 episodes later, engaged 6 episodes later, and they're married. That was fast. That was absolutely fast. That's my only negative. As good as it is that Dom found somebody that actually loves him, it's too fast. And now let's talk about our positives. My first positive is how supportive Cleo was with this whole wedding idea. How she was willing to plan everything out, talk to Kim, how she made sure that the wedding still went on, and when her dad was sitting there blaming himself, saying he was never good enough, she sit there, first time ever, they probably let that actress talk like this is reality. Don't you talk like that. That feels good. That just takes away from it is not a kid show. This is serious. So that was good how supportive Cleo was and how she was standing firm and strong in this sense. The good positives from this, even though it's sad, is that we're seeing how this revelation like hurts Cleo and Lewis and how it breaks Cleo's heart to the point where she feels like she's absolutely losing him. But then again, she realizes wanting him to stay there and just end his dreams for her is very selfish. So she decides to tell him to just go on and chase your dream. I'll see you again. What's 3 years? I'll still be here in 3 years. So that was very brave of her and very strong of her, because that takes a lot. That takes a lot of a person to like sacrifice their love and their happiness like that just for someone else. And you know what? That's what Lewis and Cleo keep doing. They keep sacrificing their happiness for each other. And and we know it. We gonna miss Lewis. We really gonna miss Lewis. Another positive in this episode is that this episode actually starts detailing how much love Sam and Dom got for each other a little bit. Like him just sitting there talking bad about himself because he thinks he's truly not good enough for Sam because everything went wrong. That'll break your damn heart. Because at that point you realize, yeah, he in love. He loved that woman. He wanted to marry her. And it's just all messed up. It's every bit of messed up. So that now brings us to the episode overall. I don't think this episode was a filler. This episode is good. Like it didn't wrap up Cleo and Lou's relationship. It put them in a different dynamic. Now they're a long distance relationship. So they're going through the challenges of being in a long distance relationship and actually like being able to stay faithful to each other. So now their relationship has been put to the test. Now they have a faithful test to fight over. The second thing, we actually now can look at the dynamics that's going to happen within the Satori house now that Dom has gotten remarried and Sam is moving in permanently now that she's his wife. So we're going to have to see how that's going to pan out because we're so used to it just being the three of them most of the time in season 1 and 2 because the mom really is barely not there anyway. So that's why her presence being gone may not affect the fan base so much. So to have that shift and change, like everybody has to get used to that. Another thing, like I love the fact that Kim got humbled in this episode. Rightfully so. She was being just a terrible person. Like ever since that episode where she sit there and talk down about her dad and how he couldn't get a woman by the flaws he had, I was like, honey, you will never get a man. So let's not throw stones at glass houses, okay? Overall, like it gets you in your feelings, right? You're worried that Cleo and Lewis will end up breaking up and it affects you. Then you think, okay, so he's not gonna go, so they can work it through this. But then the show hits you with the curveball. No, Cleo's going to let him go, but they're gonna be in a long distance relationship. So you're biting your nails, especially when that next new character comes in and he sets his sights on the Cleo. And everybody has to be sitting on their toes wondering if Cleo's going to choose him over Lewis or if Cleo's going to stay faithful to Lewis. We then get to see the moment between Dom and Sam and actually get a little bit more than just them saying they're in love and stuff like that. We see they're generally happy and they're hugging and they're kissing and they actually decided to get married and they really are bummed out. Like Sam wanted to stop the wedding just because she didn't want Cleo to go through all that and then have to lose Lewis at the same time. Like it wasn't fair. Dom being realistic with Lewis, but still Clueless always makes some resilience go down. Okay, they got this down pat. They ready for real life marriage and goals in life. They didn't break up. They stayed strong. But also like seeing that how generally how happy they are to be married and getting married and engaged, and even if it is rough, like they're not doing this necessarily because they're lonely anymore. Like they're doing this because they've actually fell in love. So As much as I feel like it's too fast and I feel like it started off that way, it did not end up staying that way. So Dom and Sam getting married, like kudos to them. Don't let Kim like tear down your happiness. Be a husband and wife. Go be happy. Thank God. Kim didn't get what she wanted. I'm still sad that Lewis left. Jesus Christ. So now that Lewis is gone, we about to see the ushering of a new change in the second half because Zane is now finna have a problem with Will sticking around because now Will has to take up the new mantle. Will is more of the artifact type guy of the group. He's like the one who can do the research on like ancient stuff and history and everything. Lewis knows all the logic, scientific know-how, but he's more of the history artifact buff, so they need him. Zane is obviously the one with the money, so that's his thing. But like we're gonna see him and like Will clash now, especially since Sophie will get involved. But now that Lewis is gone, Will has to like help out the girls more. He has to make sure he protects them because I think in this episode that's what Lewis asked of Will to do while he was leaving, like keep them safe. So now Will has to make sure they're gonna be okay with him not there because Lewis can't protect them now, so they're gonna need Will to protect them and Zane. But this will rub Zane the wrong way, and then we'll see Will pull away from his sister, which will obviously start affecting her. And while she'll like be more hostile and double down more onto Bella. But that's to come. You'll see all that tomorrow. I'm going to take me a nap. I am tired, and then when I wake up, I'll start back recording. Um, but until then, I'm done recording for right now. So without further ado, I hope you guys have a blessed day. I hope you have a wonderful day. And if no one told you this today, I'm telling you, I love you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, guys.